Okay, okay, okay. So now we are going to therefore do some bit of more complicated problems. Not that much complicated, but just a bit complicated. So this is just so that you are exposed to some tricky questions, but at the same time, you will be applying all that you already know in terms of the basics. So just make sure to pay maximum attention, and most importantly, do not forget to just take a screenshot, then from there, pause this video so that you can then attempt these questions as you test. Then once you are done, you will just play the video, and from there, that will be us doing some corrections. So you can just take a screenshot now, pause the video, and from there, we do the corrections afterwards. Okay, then it's fine. Assuming that you are done with your calculations, let us therefore see what is expected of you in question number 1. So we are having 1.1 where they want you to determine the product of the following and simplify fully. Most importantly, they say determine the product, and secondly, simplify. So in other ways, they could have just said simplify the following. It therefore remains your responsibility to know that when you are given a maths problem where you are having the brackets, you will need to remove those brackets by multiplying each term inside the bracket. And then from there, you work out the like terms. And because we do not have an equal sign, it would therefore mean you have to simplify. So now let us get started with question 1.1.1 where you are given that. I'm just wondering if I should rewrite that. Maybe not because of limited space. So definitely you will rewrite that problem. Okay, now thinking, and I see the need to just rewrite it. And say we are having AB squared inside, it is negative 2A squared that is added by 4B. So the question said determine the product and then we simplify. So definitely finding the product, it is that by that, that by that. I'm pretty much sure that by now you know exactly what needs to be done there. So now, let's see, we are having the invisible one multiplying with that negative 2, it becomes negative 2. You are having A multiplying the A. How many A's are we going to have? It is going to be 3 of them because it is that invisible one and added to that 2 because we are multiplying the same basis. But this one of B squared, we just write it as it is because it's not like there is another B to add to that one for the first term inside the brackets. Then for the second term, it will still be that one multiplied the 4. It will be positive 4. And then if you've got your A multiplying, it just remains as A because we don't have A inside. But the B, how many of them is going to be 3 of them? So that means we've got B to the exponent of what? Of the ray, because there is that invisible one B there. It looks like this is the end of it, honorable member. I'm not sure if you would agree with me on that one, but according to me, it looks like this is the end of it. And the reason for that is because you cannot further simplify that, but it just ends as that. For that reason, we will therefore say, okay, this is the end of it. So that means what you need to do, it is just to give yourself a mark there. If you get the final answer correct, then it is guaranteed that you will get full marks for that question, especially if you did not take shortcuts, you did not just copy the final answer from elsewhere. But if you've shown all the steps just like I've done, you will get that full mark. But for the purpose of us, let's just only mark the final answer. So now let's jump onto that second. Okay, this is what we are having there, which is what, just rewrite it as x minus 2, and then you are having x squared that you plus it with 2x, it is added to 8. So remember, when we talk about the product, you do that by that, but so that means in this case, it is that by that, that by that, that by that. Then again, you do with that by that, that by that, that by that. So it gets lengthy in that sense. So now, let's see. We will therefore say x by x squared, it becomes 3 of them. Nay, x by 2x, it will therefore be 2, and then the x will be 2. And then x by 8, it becomes 8x. Then now we get to 2, it becomes negative 2x squared. That negative by that, it becomes negative 4x. And that number, negative 2 by 8, it becomes negative 16. So let's see if there are some things that we can simplify. It looks like they are there. Because, let's see, this one, it doesn't have another x to the 3 that it can work out with. But definitely this one, it can work out with that one. And by the look of things, that will cancel with that, because it's like you're having 2 bananas, you minus by 2 bananas, they definitely cancel each other out. And you've got that 8x where you need to minus that 4x. Definitely, we will end up having x to the 3 plus 4x, because it's 8 minus 4x. And then that number of 16, it looks like it will just end up being that, because we do not have another number to work it with. For that reason, if you got that, then you just give yourself a full mark there. If it is different by a sign, the honorable member, it is wrong. It has to be exactly that. Not that much complicated. It's just a lengthy thing to do. It's like you just have too much work to do. But it's not like it's maths from heaven where you need to apply some rules or laws from heaven. It's already said, some that you already know. So factorize the following expressions fully. Factorize the following expressions fully. I'm not sure if you remember when we have this type of an expression where we said the procedure, it's for you to take that coefficient of x squared, you multiply it with that. So that means you take that 2, you multiply, it's like you take A, you multiply it by C. Why am I saying it's like you are taking that multiply? Remember, the format of that expression is ax squared and bx and c. So this is a quadratic expression. So you will always take that a value and you multiply it by that c value. So that means with you given that 2x squared plus 7x minus 4. Now, you will therefore multiply this by that. What does it give you? That by that, it gives you negative 8, isn't it? So now, the next thing is for you to find the factors that can give you that middle term. Definitely 1 and 8. These two values can be manipulated somehow in order to give you that middle term. And I think that can be done if you do what? If you've got a negative 1 there, and then you are having your positive 8 there, because when you multiply these two, they do take you back to this value that you got. because the main aim is for you to have the factors of this, of which those two can somehow be manipulated in order to give you the middle term. So let's see. That means we can say we've got that 2x squared. Name. So from that 2x squared, let's see. Let us see. Can we not say we are having positive 8x where we minus 1x and then we still have our minus 4 there? I hope you would agree with me on this one. You say how I factorized that it was such that I used this and that. There it is your positive 8 and there it is your negative invisible 1x. And those can give you that middle term. So now it looks like we can try and somehow factorize this, because it looks to be easier to factorize that. How so? Definitely for this part, we can take out something and we will do the same there. So let's see. It looks like here, why not take out 2 definitely and also x? Then we will remain with x plus just 4. Because when you say the whole of this outside times that, it has to take you back to that. Whole of this times that, it has to take you back to that. And then here, we can take out what? Negative 1 as a common factor. Then it means we just remain with positive x. Remember, it will therefore have to be a plus there. Why? Just so that if you have to say that by that, that by that, it has to take you back to that. The only way you will see that you've done it correctly, that's if all that you remain with inside the brackets, it must be exactly the same, so that you will therefore say this thing which is the same, you take it out as a common factor now, which is now that x plus 4, and then you remain with that 2x minus 1. That's how you factorize the honorable member. That is exactly how you factorize. Not that much complicated, but definitely it needs maximum attention. That is the only way you will survive when it comes to factorizations. Okay, then it's fine. If you got that same answer, you can therefore give yourself a mark there. Okay, then it's fine. Let's now jump on to the next one. So the main goal is to do all these problems, knowingly that when we are done with all these problems, it'll be a very good indication that at least you've got your thinking capacity activated. Yeah, thinking capacity, thinking capacity. Okay, then it's fine. So you are having this problem that looks like it's going to be a lengthy one, but let's see how far we can go with that one. I'll have to rewrite it some way. We'll write it there and say we are having a squared x where we minus ay minus b squared x plus by. Okay, it looks like already these things are grouped, but most importantly, you need to be aware that you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 terms. It is 4 terms because each term will be separated by a sign of a plus or a minus. In between, there must be a sign of a plus or a minus, and that's how you know it is a term. So it looks like here, you can take out the a as a common factor. Then you will have a inside the bracket. You will remain with a there. Ax minus, because you took out the a, there it is just y. On the other side there, it was a squared, so you just took out 1 It was two of them, you took out one. And then let's see. Here, you need to be very careful, the honorable man, very, very careful. You see, you have B there, B there. Then you say, I'm going to have negative B on the outside. You just took out one B. But be very careful when it comes to the signs, because that's what you are being tested on. You say, are you going to put a minus there or are you going to put a plus there? That is what you are being tested on. You just need to remember that whatever sign that you put there, if you have to remove these brackets by doing that by that by that, will it take you back to exactly that? It can only take you back there if you put a minus sign there. Because when you have that minus sign there, if you say this minus b or negative b times that bx, it will take you back to negative b squared x. If you take that negative b again multiplied by that, the sign of a negative and a negative, it takes you back to a positive. So that's what you are being tested on the honor. Please be very careful when it comes to that part. Okay, then it's fine. What else can you do? Let's see. What else can be done here? Then we are forced to think again and see if there is something that can be done. Because I can see that there is something. Okay, let's see. I think we might need to trace what we have done. We had A there, we took out just one A. And yes, we could only take out one. Yes, and then here we can only take out one B, and then there's where, yes. Okay, then it's fine. So the question now is, was this the only way in which the common factor can be taken out? Maybe not, but otherwise it's fine. So now let's check out something, the honorable member. It looks like now that we have taken out the common factor, then now we can therefore say this and that. We can put them together there as A minus that. And what else are we having? So what remains is, let's see. That gets to be taken out, and then means this is what we are having. I'll just need to be careful of what I do here, because this thing, it can be worked out in many different ways. So when you take out something, it has to be, when you say this by that, it has to take you back there. And again, let's see, by that same thing, it has to take you back there, and then that other one, it has to take you back there. Okay, I'm not confident with this approach. Definitely not confident with this approach, because it will definitely complicate this problem. So there might be a need to try and do a complete different method. So this is me in an exam. I tried this method and I'm not confident with it. Then I will just scratch it out, and then from there, I will start over. But let me now just erase all of you. So that means all of us. That means in a situation where you are in an exam and you've just tried a method and you realize, okay, doesn't work or it becomes complicated, then you would scratch out and then try a different method. So I will definitely show you probably the easier way than what I have done. Okay, then it's fine. The other way to approach it, it is to rearrange. What do I mean by rearrange? So you see this being a squared and that, put it closer with that one of b squared and also having x there. And then this one, put it closer to that one. So in other words, what I'm saying is we rearrange. So you see this one of a squared x minus b squared x. And you bring them closer together and you still have this one of plus by, put it closer together with this one of a y, which is that one over there. Let's see if this method is going to be a bit easier. Okay, and then from there, what else can we do? Can we not take out the x there as a common factor? That means we will have x. What remains in there? It is a squared minus b squared. And then on the other side looks like it is the y that can be taken out. You therefore have y into b minus a. Yes, b minus a. Okay, then it's fine. It's fine. What else can be done? So now you can definitely remember something very much important. What is that something important? You are having the difference between two squares there. I'm not sure if you're able to notice that. You are having the difference between two squares, and you can still further work out that. Remember, we said you will just say a minus b. That means on the other side, you can say a, then you plus it by b. Then you still have this one of y into b minus a. Okay, it looks like there is something there. You see, that part, you can manipulate it to make it the same as that. Let's say you are having a or x into a minus b, but this one, it will just remain as that. So you see here, if you want to somehow manipulate this such that it is a minus b, then what if you take out the sign of a minus to the outside, then it will be that. And then now you can therefore have a on this side, and then on this side, you just have your minus b there. How so? It is because if you say this by that, takes you back to that negative a, and then if you say that by that, it takes you back to that positive b. Yes, something of that nature, the honorable member. And then, so that means what you can now do, it is to take out these as a common factor. So that means as a common factor, you'll be having your a minus your b there. What is therefore remaining? It is this x and the whole of that. So that is why you are now having that and minus y. Why minus y? It's because you took out this as a common factor. So yeah, it definitely needs one to pay maximum attention, because I think from here, what can be done is just to simplify it such that you will therefore say, okay, that by that, you end up having ax plus bx minus y. And that is the end of it, the honorable member. Definitely not an easy question. Definitely not an easy question, especially that I tried it with a different method and it seemed to be complicated. I don't think I was going to manage with that method. I had to then try another method, of which I assume you do understand what I've done there. Then you will just give yourself a mark for that one. So remember, this is not the only way to work it out. There are other ways in which you can work it out, and you can try any acceptable method, and you should still be able to get to that final answer. So you are not restricted to doing it exactly how I've done it, but as long as you follow the maths procedure, deal with these problems, then it is indeed acceptable. Okay, then it's fine. Let's jump on to that other one. What is happening here? I wonder if with this thing being just 2 marks, just wondering if you will have an idea of where to start. Let's see. Because the method that I'm thinking for the purpose of approaching this question, it might not be something that you have to apply in approaching this question, because there are many ways in which a problem can be worked out. But most importantly, it is not all the methods that are suitable for you to apply, not necessarily not suitable, but you might find that it is not recommended for you to apply those steps. So that means I might need to try and remember the lower standards of solving this problem without applying any other complicated methods. Maybe let me try this one, because yeah, I'm thinking of I think I'm thinking of so many things in my head. But let's see. It's fine. Let's see. We have 1, 2, 5 minus 27 to the 3. I'm not sure if you would agree with me to say 1, 2, 5 is the same as 5 to the 3. And then let's see, minus, what about the honorable member? What about this? Is it not 3 to the 3 and then that one of m? Is it not m to the 3? Definitely, that is exactly what it is. So remember, you have 5 to the 3, which is exactly the same as 3m to the 3. So something that you need to be aware of is this. Not sure. I'm definitely not sure if you are going to fully understand this, but we have this thing of having a to the exponent of 3, especially when you minus, being the difference between those cubes. This is the same as a minus b And in the brackets, you are having a squared that you plus ab that you plus b squared. Yes. Most importantly, for that problem of ours, what is therefore the a value? Is it not 5? And what is the b value? Then the b value will be 3m. The whole of that inside the bracket, it is our b value. So why can't we just then substitute in there the honorable member? Let's substitute. So that means it looks like in the bracket, we are just going to have 5 being the a value minus b value being 3m. And then in there, we are going to have our a value being 5 squared. That will plus it by 5 multiplied by our b value, which is 3m. And then we need to plus our b value squared. Our b value, remember, it is 3m. You put it inside the brackets because it goes as a package. Even if you put this one inside the bracket, it is still fine. It goes as that. Okay, then it's fine. What else can we do? Definitely this one, it will just remain as it is, but it looks like in the brackets, there is something that we, what is 25? I mean, 5 squared, definitely that should be 25, isn't it? And then what is that times that? Will it not be 15? So that should be 15m. And then you see that squared, it squares invisible 1 there and invisible 1 there. So it's like 3 to the 1 times 2, which is 3 squared. What is that? Definitely that is 9. And then what about that one of m? It will be m squared, and then it close. So that means the honorable member, this is the final answer of which you should give yourself a mark if you got it exactly like that. Very, very much important. Can you see how long this is? But you need to be very careful of what you're dealing with, especially you to know this thing to say, if you're having the difference between those cubes, this is how you deal with it, the honorable member. Just not so sure if your teacher has taught you that, but otherwise, if not, and you want some more practice questions of something of that nature, we'll therefore look at that. Okay, then it's fine. I think yeah, perhaps I'm just thinking if we should, nope, we can't leave it here. I just remembered now we have to do that because the test that you did, you probably did everything there. Okay, then it's fine. Let's jump onto that 1.3.1. What is going on there? This one is definitely interesting. Okay, I'll write it down and say we are having that 25 multiplying x to the 4 multiplying y to the negative 2 multiplying in the brackets, it is that 5x to the 3y to the 0 to the minus 2. Okay, best thing that I can do here, it is just for me to break down that 25 to that. Definitely these other ones, I will just write them as they are. And then from there, multiplying, definitely we will have that. Remember, you have invisible 1 there, multiplying by that outside negative 2, it becomes that. And then you are having that x to the 3 multiplying by negative that, it will be that. Definitely, this one of y to the 0 minus, 0 multiplied will be that, because we know that 0 times that, it is 0. So already we know that this thing is the same as 1 because when you multiply what is it? When you are having a base to the exponent of 0, automatically it is 1. So now we have that and that you can work them out. Same basis, you just combine or you add their exponents. So it will be plus -2, of which is the same as you just minusing that 2 over there. And then you are having x to the what? You are having that 4 there. You combine it with that 6. Whether you add or whatever, it will just be the same as you taking that and combining with that in terms of their exponents. What else is missing there? We just need to be very careful that it has been worked out with that it has just been worked out with that. And this one, we've just indicated that it will just be 1, it makes no difference. And it looks like it is that y which is remaining. Therefore, you will just write it exactly as it is as that. Okay, then definitely you are having 5 to the exponent of 0 because 2 minus 2 is 0. And then you are having x to the exponent of -2. You are having y to the exponent of -2. Automatically, 5 to the 0, it is the same as 1. But something very much important, the honorable member, when we are dealing with the things that involve the exponents, you must always make sure that your exponents are positive. So that means you will have this one from there, that one. And then these two, you bring them to the bottom as positive exponents. So you must just always make sure that your final answer ends as a positive exponent. If, for example, this one was a positive, then it means it was just going to remain at the top, but you just take this one to the bottom to make it positive. That's what I meant. So that means if you got that, then you give yourself a mark for that one. Hope that makes sense. I will therefore cancel all of this and get to that next problem. Please do not worry that much. It does look a bit scary, or it does look a bit tricky, but trust me when I say it should be doable. Remember, in mathematics, honorable member, you might find that there are many ways in which you can attempt a problem. Some methods may work and some may not. Okay, so the best thing that I can tell you is for you to somehow try to deal with this section alone. And then once you've dealt with it, then that's when you can check what can be done with this section. So it may be that big or that long, but do not be scared. So let's maybe, okay, I'll just have to rewrite it, even though I don't have enough space. Okay, let's say we are having that x squared plus 7x plus 10, the whole of that divided by x plus 5 divided by x plus 2, and then 5 there. Okay, so the best thing that you can do, the honorable member, is try to factorize this. You factorize it that same way that I taught you, where I was saying you will take your a value being invisible one there, and you multiply it by the c value. So it's like you're having 1 times 10, which will give you 10. Yes, it will definitely give you 10. Then you say, what are the factors of 10? You have 1 times 10. The other factor can be 2 times 5. So you need to choose those factors of which they can give you that middle term being 7x. And already, these are the suitable ones, because you can therefore rewrite that as x squared, and then you are having, you can still say plus 2x plus 5x, and then you still have your plus 10 there. Remember, for now, I'm just dealing with that one at the top just to factorize it. And you see, you haven't changed anything because these two, they do give you that middle term being 7. So now you can take out the x as a common factor. It will remain with x plus 2 plus here, you can take out the 5 as a common factor. You will remain with, is the 5? Yes, x plus 2. Yes, can you see? Then now you can nicely factorize it and say you take out that as a common factor and then you remain with that. That's how you factorize the honorable member. So can you see, for you to know that you've done it correctly, that's if this inside the brackets is exactly the same, then you take it out. So that means what you've just done, the honorable member, is that now you are having that x plus 2 and x plus 5 at the top over this thing at the bottom, even though it's not inside the bracket, but it's x plus 5. So you can have your divided there, having x plus 2 over 5. Something that you should be aware of is that if the whole of this is exactly the same as the whole of that, even though this one at the bottom is not in the brackets, you can cancel it because it is exactly the same. So it cancels the whole of that. Most importantly, it means we just remain with what? With that x plus 2. We know most, if you have a division sign there, you change it to a multiplication, and then you will therefore say is the same as you having that goes to the top, and then this goes to the bottom. I'm not sure if you will realize that actually it looks like the whole of that now cancels with the whole of that. You therefore just remain with 5. Because if maybe you don't want to cancel too early, let me show you how it will end up looking like. So this 5 will multiply the whole of that. So you end up having 5 multiplying that, nay, over that plus that. So can you see the whole of that now cancels with that, and then you end up with your final answer being 5. So can you see that's how the honorable member, you work it out. And trust me when I say, if you got 5 as your final answer for that, you therefore give yourself a mark for that. Okay, then it's fine. I will therefore erase all of these. Then we do that last problem over there. Okay, I will just erase all of these. I'm just hoping that all these that we are doing, or all these that we've just covered, it opens your eyes in terms of how you should approach the given problems. Okay, so now let's try that last one. So the last problem, definitely, because you can see the sign of a plus and a minus there, chances are high that you might need to take out something as a common factor. And most importantly, you will need to break those exponent things there. So let's see, you are having 9, and then that 3 to the x, you break it to becoming that. And then you've got 5, got 3 to the x, that you divide by 3 to the x, where you minus 3 to the x, and then you've got 3 to the 1. Yes, this is it. Okay, and then you check if there's something that can be taken out as a common factor. Definitely the 3 to the exponent of x, and then you remain with that 9, which will therefore be multiplying that 3 to the 2, plus here you will remain with 5 because you took out 3 to the x. Again, here you can take out 3 to the x, you will remain with 1, minus, you'll just remain with 3 to that one there because you've taken out that as a common factor. For that reason, this can cancel with that. Then you can say, okay, at the top of remaining with 9, what is 3 squared? Definitely that is 9. That you'll have to plus it by 5. Then here you will have 1, which minuses the 3. So what is 9 times 9? What is that? Is it not 81? Something like, I think it's 81. I think it's 81. So that means you will therefore be having that 81, that you'll have to plus it by 5, and then divide. What is 1 minus 3? Definitely that is negative that. And then what is that plus that? I think that should give you 86, that you will have to divide it by negative 2. Definitely it will be negative 4 and 3, which is negative 43. And that's exactly how you work it out. And most importantly, give yourself a mark if you have done it correctly. Okay. Definitely it has been a lengthy lesson, but I think at this stage, you now understand what was expected of you out of this question. So you can just quickly work towards submitting your work.